we have a very, very interesting video here today now, and what we're going to take a quick look at is a few things that Ron has recently said. As you know, I have currently uploaded, there's 8 parts to a Ron Toye podcast, where he's with Ken Jennings, he's also with Mr. Hop and Cress. And in this podcast, say there is still another hour and so to go, but a lot of the stuff Ron has said, he was like, and it's mostly been in the last 2 where it's gotten really, really spicy. He has gone, well, if Vic comes to me and says, right, can we stop this, can we do this, can we move on, etc., etc., Ron was like, yeah, we'll stop it, we'll cancel it, we'll have a little chat, and I don't care about the money. He said, he goes, if I need to pay it and appeals, whatever, say it's stopped right now, if Vic asked me to stop, I would stop, and I would pay the bill and move on. Well, this is what Ron has said on Twitter. On the farms. Get these two mixed up now. So this is what he said. So you had someone replying, yeah, lemons is so much better. Frivolously fluffing up the bill to try to make Vic owe as much as possible. Thankfully, Chubb did the fees right. I wouldn't be happy with a $250,000 bill when the other people in this case had their lawyers that haven't taken on many defamation lawsuits cost 5 times less as your expert. And this is what Ron went back with. But she was not. You see how that works. She followed the steps she was supposed to follow. With that one, it's mostly regarding, when Vic actually got terminated from Funimation, he sent the email, and obviously that kind of stopped that he could just speak to anyone he wanted, but Monica couldn't because she was saying that, she couldn't speak to anyone involved. I get that part there where he does say, she was supposed to follow. I get that. I understand that. But this is where it gets kind of funny. It sounds like a problem he has and maybe why he is done. We shall see if we get the entirety of our fees. Just think. If you believe our costs were too high, what are your thoughts on how much Toye charged? And then to get laughed out of court. And he's put another smiling emoji. And with that there, that's where it comes into of, on the podcast, Ron's like, yep, I'll sit down with Vic, I'll do everything, we can do this, we can work stuff out. But then he goes online and says stuff like this. This is why you cannot trust Ron. Everything he has been saying in this podcast, he's a completely different person to when the first podcast was done a couple of weeks ago. That's probably because it was just Ron in the first time. He wasn't drinking like he was this time. And even says it himself. He goes, I've had 1 or 2 of these. And maybe more, because you can tell towards the 3-hour mark, you can tell he's getting a little bit more merrier. He's getting a little bit more, the drunk confidence is there. He's like, oh yeah, haha, yeah, laughing, joking, saying this, saying that. Yeah, we'll do this, we'll do that. And it's like, dude, you've had plenty of time to do all of this. Why all of a sudden are you saying this when you've gone on a podcast? And it's kind of interesting because Ron was actually meant to go on DA Talks podcast the other day. And he said no, and he didn't show. Kind of like what he done against NBA. So when he's saying this here regarding the money, and he's like, oh, do you think I'm going to get all my money? We'll see. And I was like, dude, you said it's not about the money. You said that if Vic wanted to stand and, we can do this, we can do that, it'll be great. But obviously, you think it's something completely different. And what we're going to take a look at as well is, during the last 2 podcasts, Ron went out of his way saying, oh no, there was nothing there. The courts didn't find anything that happened. Nothing occurred. They only, the filing was there because they had to do it, and that's why. And it was all dismissed after a year anyway. Well, we have this. Respondent, Ronald J. Toye III, appeared in person and announced ready, jurisdiction. The court, after examining the record and hearing the evidence and argument of counsel, finds that all necessary prerequisites of the law have been satisfied and that this court has jurisdiction over the parties and subject matter of this case. The court finds that applicant and respondent are individuals that were formerly spouses and individuals that are the biological parents of the same child, the child the subject of this suit. The court finds that family violence has occurred and that family violence is likely to occur in the future. The court finds that respondent, Ronald J. Toye III, has committed this. The courts find that the following protective orders are for the safety and welfare and in the best interest of applicants and other members of the family and are necessary for the prevention of family violence. Orders. It is ordered that respondent Ronald J. Toye III prohibited from committing this through physical acts or by threats as defined in section 71.004 of the Texas Family Code. So, when he's done this here now, and it's like, right, okay, well, this has gone out, this is there, these are the court documents that you said didn't find anything that you done. That's why you're like, oh, well, there's no police report, there's none this is what your side wants, this is what your side says. Ron, this is basically the proof that is there. You know, it's kind of interesting because I'm reading by here as well. There's someone who's in the comment section and they say, well, technically, Ron is saying that was who he used to be and was an asshole, which he was. But we also know the truth that he still is one. After all, look at how he blames others for his problems and gets defensive. Which he does. He gets very, very defensive now. And seeing that he's like, oh, you know what? I didn't do this. I didn't do that. The police didn't find anything. Well, this proves otherwise, Ron. This is there to show people that you did commit these crimes. You just did. And when you go onto a podcast and say, oh, they didn't find nothing, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, it's like, come on, dude. Why would you go on to a podcast and say, they didn't find anything? They was dismissed after a year. Yes, because this protective order was only for 1 year. So obviously it was going to be dismissed. But again, no, we digress from the actual situation here of that Ron is on the podcast. He has gone and done a complete 180. And he's a little bit of a nutter at the moment. He's like, yeah, we'll do this, we'll do that. Like he said with Nick, he goes, oh, I want to hate Nick. Dude, we've seen texts and where you've even sent him messages saying that you hate him and stuff. It's almost like he's trying to get people on his side, and sadly, that's not going to happen. Ron, it's too late for all of this. You're saying that you could have sat down with Vic, you know, if you could hash things out, you would do this, you would do that, everything would come to a stop. You had mediation. You didn't do a damn thing. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell for future updates, and I'll see all you wonderful people soon.